Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to introduce a new Chinese poet to you whose name is Li Bai. You've probably heard of him. And the first poem that I chose for you is a very special one, so let's jump right into it. Farewell to Uncle Yun, the imperial librarian at Xieqiao's pavilion in宣州. What left me yesterday can be retained no more. What troubles me today is the times for which I feel sore. An autumn wind for miles and miles, the wild geese fly. Let's drink, in face of this, in the pavilion high. Your writing's forcible like ancient poets, while mine is in Junior Xie's clear and spirited style. Both of us have an ideal high, we would reach the moon in the sky. Cut running water with a sword, it will faster flow. Drink wine to drown your sorrow, it will heavier grow. If we despair of human affairs, let us roam in a boat with loosened hairs. Now the original Chinese text. 宣州谢朓楼饯别校书叔云，弃我去者，昨日之日不可留；乱我心者，今日之日多烦忧。长风万里送秋雁，对此可以酣高楼。蓬莱文章建安骨，中间小谢有清发。俱怀逸兴壮思飞，欲上青天揽明月。抽刀断水水更流，举杯消愁愁更愁。人生在世不称意，明朝散发弄扁舟。So with this video, I create a new playlist for one of the most famous poets in Chinese history, Li Bai. There is no way that one can talk about Chinese poems without mentioning this guy's name. He is a poet that lived in the high time of the Tang Dynasty from 701 to 762 AD. He was born in today's Kyrgyzstan in a merchant's family, and he has many nicknames thanks to his achievements in poetry. These names include Poet Transcendent, Wine Immortal, and Banished Transcendent. His poems are models for celebrating the pleasure of friendship, the depth of nature, solitude, and the joys of drinking wine. He has written thousands of poems in his lifetime, and it has been very hard for me to pick one to begin this series. Nonetheless, I have decided to introduce Li Bai with this poem that kind of combines his understandings of friendship, life, and nature all together. The title of this poem is particularly long, Farewell to Uncle Yun, the imperial librarian at Xieqiao's pavilion in宣州. It is a farewell poem to his uncle Li Yun at a pavilion in宣州that was built by Xieqiao, who was a poet in Nanqi dynasty, which is one of the very short dynasties in the southern and northern dynasty period in Chinese history. And his uncle is a librarian. What's interesting with this poem is that although it was written for a farewell, the poem does not seem to contain any words suggesting one. It's closer to a poem on simple life understandings. So the poet begins with two stunning lines. What left me yesterday can be retained no more. What troubles me today is the times for which I feel sore. They are words of complaints about the past yesterdays and the troubling present. However, even under this unpleasant current status, the poet found comfort from drinking with his uncle. In autumn wind for miles and miles, the wild geese fly. Let's drink in face of this in the pavilion high. The beautiful autumn weather gives him joy, and wine has lifted his tension that inspired this poem. The following lines are complimenting his uncle. Your writing's forcible like ancient poets, while mine is in Junior Xie's clear and spirited style. Here, the Chinese text was 建安骨, and they refer to the poets back in the southern and northern dynasties whose poems were characterized with very strong spiritual and Taoist style, and the poets who wrote them pursued their ideal lifestyles without concerning about the social norm back at that time. We know that Li Bai has been banished many times in his life and was not a successful civil servant or politician, although he had very big ambitions throughout his life. That's why in his poem we sometimes feel a sense of contradiction between the will to achieve something in the courthouse in front of the emperor and making real contributions to his country, but the inspiration for spiritual realization that would ironically incur abandoning the pursuit of fame. This is made even clearer in the following sentences. Both of us have an ideal high. We would reach the moon in the sky. Cut running water with a sword, it will faster flow. Drink wine to drown your sorrow, it will heavier grow. Both Li Bai and his uncle have huge ambitions and talents, but their unsettled dreams serve only as endless worries and sorrow at this point of time. Any effort, including drinking wine, would act like cutting running water with a sword and serves no purpose at all. So what should he do then? Well, apparently he doesn't have an answer. If we despair of human affairs, let us roam in a boat with loosened hairs. If we single out this line from this poem, it could be a very cool motto, but now with the context given to you, we know that these lines are probably merely written for self-comforting purposes. It's definitely an amazing poem that shows Li Bai's talents and this contradictory mindset that he had throughout his life until his death. The poem offers a very good perspective for us to begin the Li Bai series, and with more poems coming to you in later videos, I hope that you can gain a better understanding of Li Bai's life, his dreams, dilemmas, and his transcending perspectives on nature. Hope you have enjoyed this poem, and I'll see you next time.